Good afternoon, everybody in real estate land. Darryl D coming to you recorded. So, got a quick question for you. Has anyone taken the time to explain to you the difference between the old market and the new market? Great question. So, in about 2019, we had an interesting market. We had a shift, and I was able to, I call it the COVID era, right? The COVID era happened. And from about 2020, 2021 to 2022, you had a market that just shifted radically and fast. And when I say it was a fast shift, it literally became a fast market. Houses were coming on the market and leaving the market. You had the people were, but what you would hear words like, oh, there's no inventory. Really, that wasn't the case. There was inventory. It was just being snatched up fast. Also, what you saw was people putting 50 grand over. You saw the types of financing was either cash or it was a conventional loan. You did not see the FHA. You did not see the VA loans. It was cash or conventional. We'll talk about that later. You also saw waiving of appraisals and sometimes a waiving of inspection periods, if not for sure a reduced inspection period. So the market was moving, and it's like being in a lazy river that wasn't lazy. You either get in there with what you got and go after it, or you don't. And many people obviously lost out and they gave up hope. They're like, forget, I'm not going to do it. Well, and rightly so, because the type of financing wasn't what the market was looking for. Now, what we're starting to see now in August of 2022 is a shift back to that 2019 market where you're going to see it's slowing down a little bit. Now, let's not be deceived. It's going from 100 miles an hour down to 80. And if you're down the highway and you're cruising to the 100 or 80 and go down to 60, you drop to 20 miles per hour, you will feel a difference. It feels like you're crawling. However, that's not the case. The things are still moving quickly, right? Not as quickly, but move quickly. 60 miles an hour, let's just say 70. 70 on the highway is still 70. It may not be 90, but it's still 70, and it's a lot faster than 20. So keep that in perspective, my friends. What you're seeing is you're not seeing the $50,000 over asking as much anymore. In fact, you're actually seeing price reduction. Not across the board, but depending on what neighborhood you're in and how fast the sellers want to sell the property. Also, another thing you're seeing is you're still seeing some waiving of appraisals, or at least the agents are asking that. Not always happening. Why? Because FHA loans and VA loans are coming back into the market, right? Because the market's slowing, the sellers want a bigger pool to choose from. Why is that important? Well, traditionally, your FHA loan, which is a government-backed loan, which means by default, more stipulations. You know how the government is. VA loan is a guaranteed loan, same thing. There's more stipulations. It's not a quick, smooth, capitalistic transaction. It's let's do a lot of work. And now that, but the good side of that is traditionally there is a lower interest, or not lower interest, there's a lower down payment. So that's the benefit of having the government do all their little, stipulations, and you have a lower down payment. And some people in conventional now in this market are moving to an FHA loan. Why? So that they can get a lower down payment and a lower monthly payment. So it's an interesting dynamic. You're also seeing really no slowdown in appraisal period. You're seeing the inspections obviously being done. And now in the new construction realm, builders, I'm going to look right here at my notes, builders are throwing incentives. So buyers now have a little bit more options, and they can now get out and maybe instead of finding a home that they're settled for because things will move fast, they can now start maybe to find a home they love. It's a good time to buy, my friends. What did not go up? Well, this was interesting because in the fast market, when the prices were rising quickly to meet the demand of the consumers, what went down was interest rates. Interest rates, it's very interesting, is I want to put something in perspective in this new emerging market. Is we are still, if you look at this in 1975, 1980, 81, you had 17 to 18, almost 18% interest rates. Now we're down here in the fives. We're back here kind of in the fives. Historically, we hit below 5. So look at the difference, though, the difference in interest rates. So we are in the lower end historically. So that's a good thing. Now, I want to put that into perspective because the talking heads will say interest rates rose from 3 to 5%. The sky is falling. No, this is actually a time to take advantage. Kind of reminds me of when gas prices were super low, and I would see these guys or these lawn guys specifically would go to the gas station and they'd have the red tanks, and they would fill up. They would like gallons and gallons and gallons. Why? To take advantage of the low gas price, and they put it on reserve. This is what it is. If you buy today, this is what you're doing. You're buying low. You're buying a low interest rate. It's not the lowest. You're not buying at the peak or the bottom of the dip, but you're not also at the top. So you're in the lower end. It means it's still a good deal. If it's a lower end and prices rise 5%, you have a great gig going on here. And we can talk about that later. So keep that in mind when interest rates becomes an issue of, oh my gosh, I don't know if I should buy. You are on the lower end. Think of the guy who's been studying the gas prices. I guarantee you, if gas prices drop to $2 a gallon or $2.50 a gallon, down from 3 something or 4, you would see people rushing to the gas, filling up because they're not sure when gas will go back up again. This is what's happening. The interest rates are dropping. We need to be filling up. Think of making a real estate move. Think of maybe buying that investment property, or an investment property could be a second home 100 miles away where it's a vacation home. That's also an investment. All right, it doesn't have to be something that you rent out, although that's a great idea. We'll talk about it. All right, so my friends, it's a new market, old market, but either way, don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. Warren Buffett, I believe, said that, and so did Benjamin Franklin. That's it, my friends.